The envelope arrived on a Tuesday, slipped under my apartment door like a mistake no one wanted to claim. Cream-colored. Embossed gold letters. My brother's name printed proudly at the top. For a long time I didn't touch it. Family invitations have a smell, sweet on the outside, rotten underneath. I knew that scent too well. When I finally opened it, the words were polite. Formal. Cold. You are cordially invited to the engagement celebration of. No apology. No acknowledgement of the years I'd been erased. Just a location. The Grand Aurelia Hotel. I almost laughed. The irony tasted bitter on my tongue. The night of the party, rain soaked the city, clinging to my coat as I stepped out of the car. The hotel rose before me in glass and light, every window glowing like a promise. Guests in silk and tailored suits drifted inside, their laughter floating into the night. I paused at the entrance. This place had once been my dream, back when I slept in borrowed rooms and counted coins to afford instant noodles. Back when I swore I'd never let anyone look down on me again. I adjusted my coat and walked in. Warm air wrapped around me, carrying the scent of polished wood, expensive perfume, and champagne. The marble floor gleamed beneath my boots, reflecting chandeliers that dripped with crystals like frozen tears. Then the whispers began. They always do. I heard my name first, soft, unsure, like a rumor no one wanted to own. Then I heard her voice. Low. Amused. Sharp. The stinky country girl is here. The words slid under my skin like a splinter. I didn't turn around. I didn't need to. I knew that voice. Lydia. My brother's fiancée. The woman who once watched me pack my life into a single suitcase and never said a word. Laughter followed, polite, restrained, cruel in the way rich people are cruel. My fingers curled slightly at my side. Years ago, that sentence would have broken me. It would have sent me running back into the rain, head down, ashamed of where I came from. But tonight, I stayed. I lifted my chin and scanned the room. There was my brother, smiling like nothing had ever been wrong between us. Like he hadn't chosen silence when our parents called me a burden. Like he hadn't let them pretend I didn't exist. For him, this night was a beginning. For me, it was a reminder. I hadn't come for forgiveness. I hadn't come to belong. I had come because betrayal, once faced, loses its power. And as I stepped further into the ballroom, into the light they thought I didn't deserve, I wondered how long it would take before they realized something smelled different tonight. It wasn't the country girl. It was fear. I learned early that being born in the countryside meant you were expected to stay there, quiet, grateful, and small. Our house sat at the edge of a dirt road that turned to sludge every time it rained. Mud crept into everything, shoes, hems of dresses, even the cracks in the walls. My mother used to scrub the floors until her hands bled, as if cleanliness could save us from being looked down on. It never did. When my brother left for the city, everyone celebrated. He was ambitious. Promising. Worth investing in. When I said I wanted more, the room went silent, as if hope sounded obscene coming from my mouth. You should know your place, my father told me once, not unkindly. Just final. Lydia entered our lives during those years, polished and pale, with manicured nails that never touched dirt. She smiled at me like I was something she'd stepped around carefully, afraid it might stain her shoes. The night everything ended, our kitchen smelled of boiled vegetables and damp earth. My parents sat across from me, hands folded, eyes tired. We can't keep supporting you, my mother said. Supporting me meant letting me sleep in the house I was born in. My brother stared at the table. He didn't speak. He didn't defend me. That silence was louder than any insult. I packed my clothes into a borrowed suitcase. Lydia watched from the doorway, arms crossed, curiosity flickering behind her eyes. She didn't gloat. She didn't comfort me either. She simply observed, like someone watching a problem remove itself. The bus station that night was cold and smelled of oil and rain. I remember hugging myself, promising I wouldn't cry until I was out of sight. I failed. Tears dripped onto my hands, mixing with the grime I hadn't managed to wash away. The city was cruel in different ways. I slept in cramped rooms with strangers, worked until my feet blistered, and learned how to swallow humiliation without choking. Every rejection letter felt like proof they were right about me. But something stubborn took root in that mud they buried me in. I watched people, how power moved through rooms, how money spoke before names ever did. I learned that dignity wasn't given. It was claimed, inch by inch, in silence. Years passed. My accent softened. My clothes changed. My hands grew steady. Yet no matter how far I went, the memory of being dismissed followed me like a shadow. So when I stood in the ballroom now, surrounded by people who thought I was still that girl, mud on her shoes, shame in her eyes, I understood something clearly. They hadn't destroyed me. They had planted me. And tonight, in a room built on polished stone and arrogance, the girl they buried was done growing underground. Lydia found me near the champagne tower, her heels clicking like a warning. Up close, she smelled of roses and entitlement. Her smile was flawless, the kind practiced in mirrors and boardrooms alike. She looked me over slowly, my coat, my shoes, my calm, and something uncertain flickered behind her eyes. "I didn't think you'd come," she said lightly. "This must be overwhelming for you." I took a flute from a passing tray, the glass cool against my fingers. "Not really," I replied. "I'm used to large investments." Her laugh came out too fast. "I meant the place," she said. "The Grand Aurelia isn't exactly forgiving to people who don't belong." I met her gaze. "Is that what you think?" Before she could answer, a man in a dark suit approached, Thomas Reed, the hotel's general manager. His posture shifted the moment he saw me, professionalism giving way to respect. "Ms. Hale," he said, inclining his head. "We weren't expecting you this evening. Is everything satisfactory?" Lydia froze. Her fingers tightened around her glass. "I'm sorry," she cut in sharply, "but we're in the middle of a private event. Guests shouldn't be." "I own the hotel," I said calmly. The words fell between us, heavy and unadorned. Silence spread like spilled wine. Thomas nodded. "Of course," he said. "Your presence honors us." Lydia's smile fractured. "That's not funny," she whispered. "This hotel belongs to Aurelia Holdings," I finished. "Which I acquired 3 years ago." She searched my face for a punchline. There was none. Around us, conversation slowed. My brother noticed the tension and started toward us, confusion creasing his forehead. "What's going on?" he asked. Lydia opened her mouth, then closed it. I turned to him. "You're celebrating in my building," I said gently. "Congratulations." His face drained of color. Across the room, Lydia's parents had been watching. Her father stood abruptly, disbelief etched into every line of his face. "That's impossible," he said. "We've partnered with this hotel for years." "And I've honored every contract," I replied. Quietly. "I prefer anonymity." He studied me again, really looked this time, and recognition dawned, followed by something like fear. I could feel it then, the shift. The room didn't belong to them anymore. Every laugh, every chandelier, every polished inch of marble rested on land my signature controlled. The power they'd assumed was theirs had never been. Lydia's voice dropped. "Why didn't you say anything?" I tilted my head. "You never asked." A waiter passed, careful now, eyes lowered. Guests whispered. Phones slipped into pockets. The illusion of superiority cracked, hairline fracture spreading fast. I hadn't raised my voice. I hadn't accused. I had simply stood where I'd always belonged, on solid ground. And beneath their feet, the truth waited. The music faltered. Not because anyone stopped it, but because no one was listening anymore. All eyes had turned toward me. I felt it then, The strange calm that comes when the worst has already happened and nothing left can hurt you. Years ago, I would have begged for understanding. Tonight, I didn't need it. Thomas cleared his throat. "Ms. Hale," he said carefully, "would you like us to continue the celebration?" "Yes," I replied. "Please do." Relief rippled through the room, but it didn't last long. I turned toward the microphone at the center of the ballroom, the one reserved for speeches and rehearsed gratitude. My brother stiffened. "You don't have to," he began. "I know," I said softly. "But I want to." I took the microphone. My voice carried easily, steady and clear. "Thank you all for joining us tonight," I said. "The Grand Aurelia prides itself on hospitality, respect, and discretion." A pause. However, respect is not a decorative feature. It's a requirement. The air tightened. I grew up being told I didn't belong in rooms like this. That some people were meant to serve quietly, or disappear entirely. I smiled, not bitter, not angry. Honest. I believed that once. Lydia stood rigid, her champagne untouched. "But life has a way of rewarding patience," I continued. "And hard work. Especially when it's done without applause." I gestured subtly to Thomas. He stepped forward, handing Lydia's father a document. "Effective tonight," I said, "all preferential contracts between the Aurelia Hotel Group and the Collins family are concluded." A gasp escaped someone near the front. "This event," I added, "will be fully covered. Consider it a gift." Lydia's mother's hand trembled. Her father said nothing. I turned to my brother then. He looked at me like he was seeing a stranger, one he should have defended long ago. "You once let silence speak for you," I said. "Tonight, I choose mine." I handed the microphone back and stepped away. No shouting followed. No confrontation. Just the soft clink of glasses being set down, chairs scraping slightly as people shifted, unsure of how to stand when the ground had moved beneath them. Lydia didn't chase after me. She couldn't. I walked toward the exit, passing mirrors that reflected a woman I barely recognized from the girl in muddy shoes. Outside, the rain had stopped. The air smelled clean. Free. Behind me, the doors closed gently. No applause. No farewell. Just silence, thick, complete, earned. And as I stepped into the night, I realized something sweeter than revenge had taken its place. Peace,